G'day, how you going there, guys? My name is Brandon from Hold Your Own, and this evening I'm going to get back to you with a few of the questions that you guys put to us from a Q&A post a couple of days ago. First question I'm going to get back to is from Oliver Purton. I hope I got that last name right. And he asked, what is your opinion on daily undulating periodization, aka DUP? Awesome question. Personally, I'm a massive fan of DUP. And there's a host of studies that have demonstrated that it is potentially more effective than standard linear periodized templates. There was one particular study that the Journal of Strength and Conditioning brought out that did demonstrate statistically significant increases in both in terms of strength and hypertrophy when they compared a DUP program versus a standard progressive, linear progressive template. Of course, they both had equal volume and intensity. So that was quite. So there's definitely a potential to be more beneficial. Anecdotally, I found to be utilising daily undulating periodization on myself and with clients. I found the majority of individuals are quite receptive to that consistent or constant change in resistance-based stimuli, and I think it does give a good yield as far as hypertrophy and strength gains when programmed accordingly. All right. Next question I'm going to get to is from Ben Doyle, and he asks, would you recommend someone dieting for reduced body fat and muscle maintenance to incorporate weekly refeed meals or maintain balanced calorie intake, or a combination of? So there's kind of a few questions within that. Let's just start with one. Refeeds, yeah. So do I recommend refeed days? Absolutely. For a few reasons. One, it's going to allow us to replenish muscle and liver glycogen stores. So of course the primary energy system associated with strength training is going to be that of the glycolytic energy system in conjunction with, of course, phosphate energy system. But with the glycolytic energy system, its primary fuel source is going to be that of carbohydrate, particularly liver and muscle glycogen stores. So if we have that substrate readily available, we can facilitate a better training intensity at the gym, better training stimulus, which means better adaptive response post-workout, which means that there's a better potential for us to, at minimum, retain or maintain muscle, at best look to build that little bit of muscle throughout that cutting phase. On top of that, keeping glycogen stores replenished is also protein sparing, which means we can minimise muscle breakdown throughout that cutting phase. Another reason is, of course, leptin manipulation. Leptin is a very important hormone when it comes to regulating fat oxidation. We can go into heaps of depth there. We'll keep that for another video. The next is it's a bit of a psychological break for the athlete, particularly if the athlete has had a long prep, a long phase of dieting. So comp prep, for example, we may be in a caloric deficit for 15 plus weeks. So it's a good psychological break, and what I'll often do is incorporate a food that's not of common inclusion within their current nutritional programming. And I tend to label a reward day. I call it a reward day personally. So yes, very effective. Most important thing in my views with a refeed is that it is structured strategically. The macronutrient disposition of that day is super important to maximising its effect, absolutely. As far as frequency is concerned, I'd recommend a refeed anywhere from 3 to 7 days. It's really dependent on the individual, their metabolism, their current body composition, and how far away they are from a comp. So next question comes from, or my last question I should say, from Michael Trimboli. I hope I got that last name right, my friend. And he asked, what is your opinion on increasing metabolic capacity and reverse dieting post-comp? Does a slow or fast reverse diet make a difference to metabolism, fat or muscle gain? So great question, absolutely. So one thing we need to understand when it comes to metabolism is that metabolism is a dynamic equilibrium. So if we decrease our caloric intake, or we're in a caloric deficit, we're going to get metabolic adaptation associated with that, which will be a metabolic slowdown, and vice versa if we're working above our maintenance calorie intake, or our current maintenance calorie intake, we're going to get metabolic adaptation in the opposing direction. We're going to increase the metabolism. So post-competition or post-comp, we're definitely going to have a level of metabolic suppression associated with that. And if we do go back to your previous maintenance calories, there will be more than likely an increase in subcutaneous fat storage. So, of course, we reverse diet and increase slowly. So to answer his question, does a fast or slow reverse diet, or the speed at which we reverse diet the athlete, that's really dependent on a lot of points, depending on the individual's metabolism as to how far we've had to diet them down. Often we've had the opportunity to work with individuals in their off-season, so we know what their previous energy intake was, and of course the macronutrient disposition of that diet, and vice versa, what they've just come off in their post-comp. So depending on the difference between where they were previous in their off-season, where they are now, will determine how long it takes, but definitely a strategic and slow reverse diet is definitely beneficial for regulating hormone profiles, building their metabolism, ensuring that they're not storing any unwanted, unrequired body fat in the process. Alright guys, well I hope that helps. Thanks for all your questions. Unfortunately I couldn't get through everyone. If you do have any questions, feel free to message us or myself personally through the Hold Your Own page. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for your time guys. Catch you next time.